Yo guys, my name's GhostX and today I've got another Call of Duty Black Ops 3 video for you guys, and today we're going to talk about the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 beta specialists. So these are all the 8 specialist characters that are going to appear within Call of Duty Black Ops 3 multiplayer, the beta build that we're actually going to be able to play publicly if you have pre-ordered the game. Just a quick note, if you have pre-ordered the game digitally, you will not have to do anything, you won't have to enter a code or anything, you will already automatically be available for you to download when the beta launches on August 19th. For those of you who pre-ordered a physical copy from a retailer, then you would have had a code emailed to you that you would have had to input on callofduty.com/beta, chosen your region and your console of choice you want to redeem that code for. None of the codes are console specific, they can be redeemed for any console of your choice, but the beta will only run on the current generation consoles, the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the specialists. So the 4 specialists that we learned of originally that were in the pre-alpha and the pre-alpha build of the game were Ruin, which we'll talk about first. So Ruin, all of these specialists have a background and a story behind them. I'm not going to go through them because otherwise this video will be too long, but you can search them up online, especially the best place for that is the Call of Duty wiki, so big shout out to them guys. They have all the background on these characters, so go check that out if you want to know about that. But each specialist, as you know, you can take them into battle only one at a time. You can't change them between in the match. You have to change them between matches in pre-game lobbies and in the multiplayer menu. Each specialist has a specialist weapon and specialist ability. Now Ruin, his specialist weapon is called Gravity Spikes. Now if you've played Destiny, these specialist weapons and abilities work very similar to Destiny's Supers. That's the best way I can compare it and describe it to something else. So the same kind of thing, you earn them as you progress through the game. The scoring events will increase the power meter, which lets you earn these things. You can earn them 2 to 3 times a match, depending on how well you do, and depending on the game mode. Game mode and the speed at which they earned will vary, and that will depend on the game mode and your performance within that particular game mode. The Gravity Spikes work a lot like the Titan Striker's Fists of Havoc from Destiny, which was a arc super, which your Titan would leap in the air and slam down and then create a massive shockwave. This works in the same way, but it's worth bearing in mind in Destiny a lot of these supers, in fact all of them I believe, were activated and used in third person. However, even though Destiny was a first-person shooter, that did happen in Call of Duty. It is a first-person only shooter. All of your specialist weapons and abilities are activated and used in first person, so it's a little bit different to Destiny in that regard. But the Gravity Spikes work in the same way that the Fist of Havoc worked in Destiny. So once activated, you instantly use it up, you leap and slam into the air. Now if you were killed as you were leaping, you will lose your Gravity Spikes, but if you die as you are pulling them out, you'll still have them when you respawn. As soon as you earn them, you will have them permanently until you use them. You can't start earning it again until you've used it. You can, as I said, you can earn them 2 to 3 times a match with any weapon or ability, depending on how you perform. Now weapons and abilities, specialist weapons and abilities, are earned at different rates. That's worth noting. I think the specialist weapons are earned a little bit more, or a little bit more, a little bit less frequently. I can't remember which one it is. But anyway, the concept for Gravity Spikes is, as I said, is basically slam into the ground, create a massive shockwave, and this is good on objective modes to hit the hard points and clear out a group of enemies. It'll insta-kill anyone in the vicinity when you do it. Now his specialist ability is called Overdrive. This is a little bit like Exo Overclock, the Exo ability in Advanced Warfare, but it's even faster than that. You can go up to like 3 times your regular speed, I believe. However, every specialist weapon and ability has an audio and visual cue, so you know when an enemy's doing it, and all the specialists look different, so you can identify them on what they're capable of across the map. Now, as I said, Overdrive makes you glow blue and leave a blue trail when using it. The Gravity Spikes leave a yellow trail once you activate them and make a power-up sound when you use them, and a very obvious sound when they're used. The yellow line that they leave behind them is similar to these zombies' eyes and exo zombies. But the Overdrive, it basically is really useful for game modes like Capture the Flag. You can use this, zoom to the enemy base, grab their flag and then zoom back to your base. It doesn't last very long, but still it's that quick burst of speed you need to do those kind of game modes, and it's really useful for that kind of thing. The next specialist we're going to talk about is Seraph. So Seraph is a pretty cool character. This is a female specialist. There is a mixture of male and female specialists and one robot, which we'll talk about a little bit later. The Seraph, her specialist weapon, is very, very popular. It's called the Annihilator. This is basically a one-hit kill sidearm. It's a heavy, high-caliber 6-shooter revolver. More often than not, you won't be able to get off your 6 shots because every time you take a shot with the Annihilator, it greatly decreases your power meter. Now, as soon as you pull out the Annihilator, like a lot of the specialist weapons, the timer will tick down for how long you can use it. You can only use them for a limited amount of time, so if you don't find anyone within that time, you lose it, and that's tough. If you fire a shot and die, you lose it, tough. If you just about pull it out and you die, you still have it, and it works in like gravity spikes in that respect. But it is a one-hit kill pistol with no auto-aim, which is how they balance it out. It leaves kind of a yellow lens flare when you look at it, which also balances out a little bit so you can see when someone's got it out. It will one-hit kill people across the map regardless of where you hit them on the body, so it is a very powerful weapon, but you do have to take time between shots. It is a single action revolver where you have to pull back the hammer to load it after each shot. Her specialist ability is a combat focus. So combat focus is pretty cool. This is basically the replacement for hardline. So what this does is it activates a scoring multiplier. So as soon as you activate this, for a limited amount of time, your score will be around double what it usually is. So you can quickly rack up your score streak rewards. You can rack up your score a lot faster than you usually would be able to do, which is pretty cool. That's good for you people out there who want to earn your streaks, especially the higher ones. Now, our next character we're going to talk about is Outrider. This is another female. Her specialist weapon is called the Sparrow. This is a compound bow and arrow, which is pretty cool. I believe it has unlimited arrows, but again, obviously every time you use an arrow, it will greatly decrease your power meter, and obviously it will tick down over time anyway. It is a one-hit kill bow. It's a little bit harder to use than the Annihilator pistol. It does have no auto-aim. But as soon as you hit someone, it will kill them, and it will also send them flying backwards depending on how much you draw the bow. So you do have to draw the bow. If you just fire it quickly, you'll have like no power, and it does have arrow drop. So after a certain amount of distance, the arrow will start to drop down, and it will drop down more the less you have drawn back the bow. The more you draw back the bow, the more powerful the hit will be. It'll always be a one-hit kill, but it will send them flying further back the more you draw the bow. They are also explosive tipped arrows, so soon after they hit their target, they will explode. You can also shoot them in the ground near target, and if they're close enough, it will explode and kill them. And like most specialist weapons, it does have gore as well. It will make limbs fly off, etc. Her specialist ability is Vision Pulse, which is a really useful one. So this sends out a pulse in the world, turns your screen black and white, sends a red pulse out on your map as well, pings nearby enemies as red dots, and it also shows them through walls on your HUD, so you can see enemies glowing, kind of like the threat detection in Advanced Warfare. Very similar to that. It only lasts for a short amount of time, but you can see enemies that are very close to you through walls, which is obviously very useful, especially if you want to wall bang them. So that would be a very useful ability for things like search and destroy. So the next specialist we're going to talk about is Reaper. So this is the robot I was on about, so ungendered technically. So Reaper's specialist weapon is the Scythe, which is basically the replacement for the Death Machine, which is the minigun from previous Call of Duty Black Ops games. It's a tri-barreled minigun that comes out of his arm, and it has no cooldown. It has 200 rounds, but you more than likely won't be able to get all of them out. Like I said, it has no cooldown, so it won't overheat. It has a very tight hipfire spread, and you can also aim it, which will spool it up and make the hipfire a little bit tighter as well. You'll zoom in a little bit as well. So that's the Scythe. It's a pretty useful weapon. It's very deadly as well. You can rip up a lot of people with this thing, especially if you use it well. You have to give the time it takes to take it out as well. You need to keep that in mind when you pull it out. Also, there is the specialist ability, which originally was Glitch, but that's been moved to Prophet. It now is Psychosis. So this is basically a decoy. It sends out 3 holograms and makes you glow blue. All the holograms glow blue. So it makes people not know which of the 4 holograms you are. You send out 3 of them, and obviously you glow blue yourself as well, so you look like a hologram. This is good for distracting enemies. It's very good on objective modes where you can send these out onto an objective to confuse a few enemies. It'll be pretty useful in that regard. So the next specialist we're going to talk about is one of the 2 that was the newer ones that were announced at E3. So these were in the alpha build of the game. That is Prophet we're going to talk about first. So Prophet, yeah, his specialist weapon is called the Tempest. This is kind of like the Wunderwaffe DG2 in multiplayer. It's pretty cool. The only difference being it's a charge shot weapon, so you have to hold the trigger to charge it up before firing. then it will send an arc of electricity out, and if it hits an enemy or nearby to an enemy, it will insta-kill them, it will electrocute them, but they won't instantly be able to respawn. They'll sort of be clung there for a while, electrocuted, and if any enemy walks near them when they're being electrocuted, the arc will chain to them and kill them as well. It's really useful. It can be used as a trap in that regards temporarily, and it can kill massive groups of people really well. It's a very useful weapon, but again, it has no auto aim, and every time you take a shot, it will deplete the power meter quicker. It also ticks down over time, obviously, and it's a charge shot weapon, so you have to give time for it to charge and pull it out as well. So his specialist ability originally was Psychosis, but obviously it got traded with Reapers, so it is now Glitch. So what Glitch allows you to do is basically a teleporting perk. It kind of lets you go back 3 seconds to a previous position you were before you activated it. So as soon as you activate Glitch, you'll go back 3 seconds to where you were previously before activating it. But it'll also reset everything you did before then. So for example, if you grab the flag then glitch back, you won't have the flag because you didn't have the flag when you before you glitched. So that's something you gotta bear in mind, is how it works. It's kind of like time travel, so you gotta wrap your head around that, which is a little bit confusing. But it is really cool and really useful. It's a one-use perk, obviously, and then you gotta earn it again. As soon as you use it, it's used up. But it is obviously pretty useful. You can be killed as you glitch in, or just as you activate it, in which case obviously you'll lose it. I think you might keep it if you just about activate it and you die, but I'm not sure. So the next character we're going to talk about is Nomad. Again, one of the two that was announced at the E3 Alpha build. So his specialist weapon is called the Hive, the H.I.V.E. We don't know what that stands for, but it's basically a pod trap grenade launcher. So you pull this thing out, you have to load the grenade into the tube before firing, but it is semi-automatic from then on. But you have to give time to pull it out, like most of the specialist weapons. Every time you fire it, obviously it will deplete the power meter faster, and it will deplete over time. So you shoot these little traps out, and they're proximity triggered. If an enemy goes near them, it basically sends out these swarm of nanobots that eat enemy flesh alive. So they literally rip their limbs off limb from limb. It's pretty gruesome, and it's literally a one-hit kill if they activate these nanobots. So it's very powerful as well. Very good to launch and trap them on objectives. His specialist ability I've done a video on before is called Rejack. So this ability basically is kind of a bit like Last Stand, but it's not the same thing. So what this basically allows you to do is, as soon as you earn it, you can't use it. Basically what happens is when you go down, you were able to use it. So instead of dying, as soon as you have Rejack, and every time you have Rejack, you'll go into a downed animation instead, kind of like Last Stand, where it'll give you the ability to Rejack or terminate. If you terminate, you'll die, and you'll keep your Rejack as normal. Or if you use it, you'll pop green smoke and come back up. Now as soon as you go down and you have the Rejack, you will pop a little bit of green smoke so people know that you have it ready to use. But the big green smoke screen to conceal you won't pop up until you actually decide to use it. So you can use it when you want, tactically, and sort of bring yourself back to life. But watch out, usually people will spray into the green smoke as soon as they know you've Rejacked, so it's something to bear in mind there. But very useful in game modes like Search and Destroy or no respawn game modes. So the next two specialists are really recently announced. These are going to be in the beta, so it's going to be pretty cool. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Spectre. So his weapon is called the Ripper, his specialist weapon, and this is basically twin laser blades that appear on his left arm, and these are a one-hit kill melee weapons, so it's kind of like having a combat knife, but I believe it may either increase your health or your speed when using this. We're not kind of sure yet, but it's going to have a significant advantage, obviously. Otherwise you might as well just run a combat knife. Basically you just one hit kill people with this melee ability. Now his specialist ability is called Active Camo, and this is basically invisibility. It's kind of like the cloak, the exo cloak, the exo ability in Advanced Warfare. So you can use this and it'll make you temporarily invisible, which will obviously be really useful for game modes like Search and Destroy when you want to plant the bomb, etc. like that. We don't know whether it will also camouflage the bombs. It'll just look like a floating bomb otherwise, but that's basically what it does, which is pretty cool. And finally, the last specialist we're going to talk about, the most recently announced, is Battery. So this is another female. Battery, a specialist weapon, is the War Machine. So you may remember this grenade launcher for Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It is the Explode on Contact 6-shooter drum-fed grenade launcher. It's the same kind of thing, except this time it does bounce around a little bit like the MDL in Advanced Warfare, but it will explode on contact with an enemy, and I assume it's more damaging than the MDL was because that was utter crap in Advanced Warfare. So hopefully Battery's War Machine is a little bit better than that. Now her ability is I can't remember what it's called. It's some kind of armor. But basically what it does is when you activate it, it makes your whole body apart from your head, which is something I might talk about in a little bit, glow like a little bit of a transparent color. And this basically means you are invincible. It makes you invincible for a short amount of time, which is obviously very controversial, kind of like Juggernaut on steroids from previous Call of Duty games. So yeah, basically it makes you invincible for a short amount of time, but because it doesn't camouflage your head, well, show this shimmering like armor on your head, I think you can still shoot the head, which obviously makes it fair then, because it means you can still do extra damage to them and you can actually damage them and kill them, even though they have this ability, but it doesn't make it worthless because it makes the rest of your body completely unharmable. So those are all of the specialists currently we know about, all 8. There are 9 going to be in the game, so there's still 1 we don't know about. That'll probably be revealed either when the game comes out or just before. So that's pretty much it. All of the 8 specialists that are going to be in the beta, all their specialist weapons and ability, a little bit of background as well behind how it works, how the system works, etc. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And one last thing before I go, check out the no scope glasses promotion that I've got, the little referral link I got down in the description, and also check out the where you can get cheap games, which is G2A. I also do the affiliate program with them, which is pretty cool. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all the support, and I'll see you on the next one. GhostX out.